Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Tabletop Trio podcast. I'm Bob,
I'm Joe.
I'm Bronson.
and we've got a fun one for you today. A lot of good stuff that we're going to be talking about. A lot of more techie kind of like nitty gritty hobby stuff, and I'm excited for it for sure.
A lot of stuff happened this week.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of stuff with that. We'll take a trip down memory lane as well. So this is going to be a fun one for sure today.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured we'll start off today. There was a big Nintendo announcement,
Yeah.
which is fun. Well,
two big Nintendo announcements.
forced. One was forced.
Are you ready for the first big Nintendo announcement?
Let's do it.
They did it. They finally apologized. Nintendo Canada apologized for Pokemon.
Holy crap.
I don't think she's gonna get shot later. She's
Oh, yeah.
she's gonna get Epsteined.
Nintendo Canada will just no longer exist.
I'm gonna kill yourself.
She's gone. So she apologized for terrible Pokemon, for all of the things that are wrong. So that was a shock. Everyone was like, Nintendo apologize?
All right, now Microsoft do the same thing for Halo.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah, no. But Halo is perfect, Bronson. Don't you know? There's never been any issues.
I
There is
know.
no war in Ba Sing Se.
I know you're trolling me, but even hearing you say that boils my blood.
So that was the first announcement. The second announcement, because
a lot of announcements.
well, they had their they had a gun to their head because news leaked when a listing went up accidentally. I believe it was on Walmart for
Yeah.
the new Zelda game that is listed at $69.99.
Not nice.
Not nice. I knew it was coming.
I know. I hate the fact that games are now 70.
I was thinking about it as someone who has a lot of old games, and when you really think about it, when games were during our age with like the Genesis and the Super Nintendos, most games were $39.99 to $49.99. But there were a couple of some crazy ones where I think it was like one of the Final Fantasy games, and like something else that were like $100. So, I mean, that's a thing. So nowadays, fast forward, almost 25 years, 30 years,
Yeah.
counted for inflation, what's $40 to $50 in now times? It's like $130, $140.
Yeah.
And we've had them still at 60 from like the PS2 era, I think was 50,
Yeah.
was 59
Yes,
was when
60.
PS1 went to PS2. Then
think
they were
so.
they were like, hey, these new discs are special, so sorry. And they
Yeah.
raised the price.
Yeah.
And like that I understand, but the fact now that like games nowadays are never shipped fixed
That's
or correct or
so that's
full.
one of my issues. The
And
other issue is
I shouldn't be paying full price for a half game.
well, there's that. And then the other big thing, the media is gone. I get Nintendo because they're still selling cartridges that taste terrible, but when it comes to
I love the fact that people still lick them just because they taste bad.
it was for children. That was a design. That was not a flaw.
Didn't stop Allie's fucking dog.
Different taste buds. He probably loved it. So that's a thing that we're dealing with. But I hate that the people that have been releasing $70 games are the same people you'd expect to release $70 games.
Yeah.
Activision and Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Reboot and Nintendo.
Luckily, I got a discount because I have like Game Pass or whatever. Like, so I got it at like 50 instead of 70 or whatever it was.
What, through Nintendo?
No, for the
Call
Call
of
of Shitty.
Yeah.
Beat the game in like a week, and it's like, oh,
That's that.
well, thought there'd be more to that, but okay.
Yeah.
You thought there'd be more to a Call of Duty game?
I thought the story would be longer.
That was your first mistake.
I know.
The stories
Dare
now
you
are
have
like
expectations.
I know.
yeah, the stories now in Call of Duty are basically just like, we have to put it there because we always had one, but really you're here for multiplayer.
Yeah, you're here for Warzone, which like Warzone's fun. I enjoy it, but like
So that's something that bothers me about Call of Duty, is that they bundle all the goddamn games into the same launcher now. So when
Yeah.
you turn the game on for the first time, you have no fucking idea where you're going, because it is all over the place.
it's really not cleanly put together.
Not at all. I didn't know if I was switching to different game modes. I didn't know if I was switching to completely different games. I went to
Or-
go click something and it was like, "Hey, you have to buy that." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Which I think it was a Call of Duty game. Do you remember which one that you'd open the launcher and if you clicked on the wrong option, it would just stop that launcher and open up a separate launcher?
That was the in between times. I think that's when we were playing 5.
Yeah,
I think that was the in between. It would
I-
launch the older one. Now,
I hated that.
Yeah, now they're just all in one, which is worse.
And-
because now they just say, "Hey, you need to buy that one."
And like one pet peeve I have with it is, and this is the stupidest thing ever, but how many times are we going to get Modern Warfare 2, but be
5.
like 3 different versions of the game, but they're all completely different?
The newest one is like utterly different.
Yeah, the newest one is not the original Modern Warfare 2, but that's also not the other Modern Warfare. I think there are 3 Modern Warfare 2s that came out.
I don't even know.
And chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but the most recent one was good. It followed off of some other Call of Duty like Ghost
That
game.
other one.
I don't know. I don't know the story. I don't know where they are and all these people. Like all the people in this game, I thought died in the original Modern Warfare story.
Yeah.
But it's like a different universe.
Oh, so they're splitting
But it's like-
canonically.
It literally makes no sense because all of the people in this game should be dead.
This is Activision.
Yeah. Because then there's the Activision games and then the Treyarch games and then like
Oh, that's right. There were different developers.
like there were different developers and some of them like Treyarch I think had the zombie games.
Yeah.
The other developer had like basically Warzone and those types of games and like there's just too much going on
Mm.
where it's just like And
Yeah,
during the World Cup they had Lionel Messi as a playable character in Call of Duty. Like you could be Messi versus Pele. Like
Wow.
it was the dumbest fucking thing to see Lionel Messi running around with an AK-47. Like,
Yeah, that's
You know what? I have less intense thoughts about Call of Duty because although it's the same game over and over again, they have a target market. That target market truly enjoys when a new one comes out. And
Oh,
even
yeah.
though it's basically the same, it's not like they're forcing a product out that's like that nobody wants and it's annoying. At least it's only annoying to people who just are tired of seeing Call of Duty stuff. Like fans of Call of Duty when these new games come out are like, "Oh my god, I'm so hype. Here comes the new Call of Duty."
they can't be excited to spend $70 on basically a multiplayer game.
I can't imagine after spending the money that I've spent on skins in Valorant and Apex that
That's
another
the thing, though.
$70 would kill me.
It's a $70 game with microtransactions. Like a lot of them.
I feel like it's the same ilk of the people who buy all the new FIFA games or all the new Madden games. Like, yeah, it's the same shit year after year with new players on teams and new jerseys. Maybe if a team got a new jersey.
See, I don't mind that though.
But and that's
Here's-
the thing. I don't mind it either.
here's
Like
the thing.
I genuinely enjoy the Call of Duty games and like Warzone and that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna like sit there and be like, oh my god, it's the they're all the same. Like with little tiny tweaks here and there, but like
here's my hot take on all this, right? I don't care about microtransactions in games so much if they're not performance affecting, they're not pay to win, and they're not loot boxes. Loot boxes, I fucking detest, and I'll never
Yes.
buy a loot box in a game ever, including Apex, including whatever I play. I think the fact that loot boxes were ever put in games targeted at children is absolute bullshit. I think it instills in kids the desire to gamble and sets a terrible precedent.
yeah, I agree.
And then even in adults, I think that basically putting in a type of reward system that's real money based, that's so inconsistent in most cases that you are nearly guaranteed in some games to be wasting your money,
Mhm.
is absolute fucking bullshit. And I'm so glad that other countries started cracking down on that, forcing the U.S. to crack down on it.
Yeah, but now we're getting what we have now, which is arguably worse.
I don't agree with that, because there are ways that companies put out to earn skins that are non-pay skins, and no one is forcing anybody to buy a skin in a video game. You don't. I don't need a Valorant gun skin to play Valorant.
Oh yeah, but it's not just skins. That's the thing now. See, microtransactions used to unlock things. Like in Madden, you unlock players. You buy packs. You get packs.
And that's what Bob, like all of the
But like I
EA
said,
sports games.
no, that's to get
is-
players.
I know that is performance effective.
Yes.
Right.
That is pay to win. That I hate.
I hate
That's
that.
manipulative. If it's purely cosmetic, don't care. Do your thing.
Right. So that's what EA is all about, pay. Because I think they do that with FIFA now too, right? It's like the ultimate team or whatever.
Every single EA sports game has that because they do ultimate team. Whether it's Madden, NHL, FIFA, I think they still do an NBA game. I'm not sure.
No, I think that's 2K. But
But
they do
like-
the same thing.
But even then, yeah, even with 2K, they have that as well.
They were the worst.
Which they're
2K
the
was
most
the worst
egregious.
because they charged, well, was it like $30 if you wanted an afro for your player?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
the afro was like $30.
It's a mix between
Jeez.
that, like they've basically taken 2K and turned it into an MMORPG.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like to the point where you have to pay or play X amount of games, which is some ridiculous amount to earn the amount of in-game currency, or you can just pay to buy points to upgrade your player. So you're literally paying to get, I want to have an all 99 overall player. Well, I guess you're going to be shelling out a couple $100,
That sucks.
which is absurd, but
Yep.
they do that.
Yep.
The
And
people that do it hardcore are,
and
that is a bit much for me.
and for the chat who says, maybe benefit of the doubt, they're changing the game every year. EA was caught with I think it was last year's Madden game, with the textures of, I guess they forgot. It had, I think it was the Super Bowl from the year prior all over the graphics.
Yeah.
So it was literally the same game. They forgot to update the stadium.
wow.
Yeah. There were banners, and like granted, it was parts of the arena that you didn't really see. It was like in the corner or like on like fan t-shirts or like up in like the rafters, but still it's like,
It's still disingenuous.
yeah. There was
Selling an old product as new.
there was a NASCAR game. I think it was NASCAR Heat 5, which I did not buy because the developer is just garbage. In Victory Lane of one of the racetracks, which you don't go in or anything like that, still had the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series logo from late 2000s. And this was a game based off of the 2019 season.
So where did they get the
So
map from?
They went from Sprint Cup to Monster Energy to just the NASCAR Cup Series.
Right.
3 logos and like 12 years. And they had it in there.
Yeah, so where did they get that map from? Or did they just pull an old and they're just,
It was the same team that made like the previous games. And the first one I think was like the last year of Sprint before they went to Monster.
So they just had that.
They just had that, but they never updated it. And this was a game that in NASCAR Heat 3 or 4 had the proper logo.
So they went backwards.
So they went backwards.
Love that.
Then again, Motorsport Games is a terrible company that everyone straight up quit. And they're in bankruptcy.
Oh, good.
And there's a whole thing between them and IndyCar, which caused iRacing to not allow players to broadcast anything involving the IndyCar.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because IndyCar signed an exclusive agreement with Motorsport Games. And because of that, starting January 1st of this year, iRacing can no longer broadcast anything involving IndyCar. They can still keep the car
I
because
was going to ask because you paid for them.
Yeah, well, they keep the car because Dallara makes the car. So it's no longer the Indy car, it's the Dallara IR18.
Oh, they renamed it.
Yeah. But in with that, the official series cannot be raced on any track that IndyCar goes to. iRacing also every year has the iRacing Indy 500. Can't do that anymore. Because they would do the Indy 500 in iRacing.
Right.
Can't do that because it's now the Indy stuff. Those cars are not allowed to be raced on any track that IndyCar currently goes to. All because of exclusive agreements between them and the scam company that's Motorsport Games.
Wow.
Well, on the upside, I saw some fun stuff on the horizon for iRacing because I got a very long email with an update.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be fun to see.
They're
Apparently, they're redoing their weather effects for the tires and stuff.
Yeah, they're redoing the tire model that should be coming out next build. They've been working on rain for the last 2 years, which I cannot wait for rain.
It never rains in iRacing.
Yeah, because they don't have that ability yet, but they're working on it.
That's gonna be terrifying.
Well,
it's already hard
because they're going into so much detail as to like the low points on the track where water pools.
Oh my god!
Like grading and like water runoff.
Yeah, because
And-
they're laser scan maps. So yeah,
Like,
that
and
checks
where
out.
all of like the grates are for water and storm drains
Oh,
and
so
all
they,
that kind of
they
shit.
had
Like,
to like
everything.
redo the map.
weather patterns for each area the track is located in. Like
I wonder if they're gonna have
Whole nine.
dynamic weather.
they are.
Wow.
They are. So you could pretty much do a 24-hour race and have it so like, oh, there is a chance of rain. There could be a pop-up shower. You know, like that kind of stuff, which is so cool to see.
I'm already bad at the game. I
Last thing we need slick tires.
yeah, I don't need wet tires on top of that.
Well, the good news is in the rain, you don't want to race on the racing line because water plus rubber equals no grip.
Oh, good. I'll be better because I'm bad.
Yes. And the slower you go, the faster you go.
No, I don't get that one. So, I guess this leads to we'll talk about the new Zelda game. It looks really nice.
It does. I am just starting Breath of the Wild now.
Just now.
Just now. I started it. Maybe I started like in the beginning of the month, but it is so good. I'm really enjoying like the look of it, the art, gameplay, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, remember that game came out.
2017,
It was 2017 or 2015.
17.
It's 2017. Pokemon came out this year, and it looks like that.
Oh, trust me, I know.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see the new. It looked crazy. I didn't know what the title was because I think it's Tears of the Kingdom
Yep.
or Tears of the Kingdom.
it's
I'm not
Tears.
sure. Is it Tears?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. Tears of the Kingdom.
Because Tears also works when reading the title without
Yeah.
any context.
Yeah. Yeah, looking through, according to IGN, where is it? Standard edition of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will be the first Switch exclusive to retail for $69.99. The collector's edition is going to cost $129.99.
That's about
It includes a physical version of the game, an art book, a steelbook case, an icon art steel poster, and a set of 4 pin badges.
God, I hate the icon art. Can we just kill that, Nintendo? It's why?
And there's a new Link amiibo,
Yeah,
which gives players access to material and weapons, as well as special fabric for Link's paraglider.
they've been doing that since Breath of the Wild came out.
And that comes out May 12th.
Because I got the amiibo for Breath of the Wild for the Wii U, but it worked on the Switch.
I have never understood amiibos.
It's basically an NFC tag on the bottom of a piece of plastic. In fact, if you go on Amazon, if you need them, like, you have Animal Crossing, so you'll need them. If you want to move in a certain villager, instead of like randomly hoping, you could just grab the NFC and be like, boop, and it'll be like, hey, this villager, do you want to move here? And I'll be like, yeah, that one.
Yes.
So you could buy
Oh, fuck. I'm
instead
gonna have
of
to do that. There's one villager that I want, and I might have to do that.
you just got to see if they made an amiibo for it.
Oh,
So
shit. I
if-
don't think they did.
so if
there
the
might be an
amiibo-
amiibo card because I know Animal Crossing has amiibo cards.
Yeah, you'll never find them. They released them once and then never sold them again. I still go to a GameStop almost every other month and I ask them and they go, ha ha ha, no. And I was like, have they ever released them again? And they went, I think we got like 4 packs once, like a year ago. And that was it. So I was
I'm
like,
about to go on like Shopify or Redbubble or something like that and just get a knockoff like.
well, that's
duped
that's what's
card.
on Amazon. Is you could buy instead of all the amiibos and collecting 800 friggin' plastic things, it's just like a plastic container with all of just the chips in it, and you can be like, that one, put it back. Like I'm not. Like I don't want to pirate it, but like I also don't want that many pieces of plastic, and
Yeah.
also I am really trying to give Nintendo my money and buy these friggin' cards. They're just not releasing it.
I don't understand that.
They don't like money.
Like
I don't know.
I genuinely don't understand like how Nintendo does this consistently. We saw that even back with the Wii. Like how hard was it to get a nunchuck controller?
Never mind the nunchuck. It was everything. I
Yeah.
worked at Toys R Us when that happened. There used to be fights in the parking lot for the goddamn Wii Fit boards. I almost fought a lady for a Wii Fit board because I came in early, like everyone else, and I stood in line, and there were like 150 people online, and we had like 6 Wiis. So they would go out front, and they would randomly hand out. It wasn't in line. You weren't the first 6. We weren't doing that. We were just randomly like you, and you. Good, you're done. I ended up getting one. I came in early. I got it. I got the Switch. I got the board. I got like 2 or 3 controllers on top. But I had to get like the bundle controllers because the regular ones were all sold out. So I spent like $700 to get a fully loaded Switch, even though I hated it. But my brother and my sister wanted it for like all the Mario shit. So I was like, fine. So I got it. So I had it behind the counter in the back of the cabinet, like where you could like behind me where people would come in and like ring up. So I had it just like in the back. Some lady comes up to me. It was the only Switch left, or only Wii, obviously.
Oh, God.
And they're like, "Can I have a Wii?" And I was like, "No, we don't have any left." She's like, "What about that one?" And I'm like, "It very clearly in big letters has a name on it."
Yeah.
Now it also happens to be my name, but
I'm
it's
not saying it's mine,
but it also has a receipt on top
it's
that
also
shows
not
it's been
yours.
paid for.
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, that's not fair." And I'm like, "I don't care." Shoo.
It is fair. I got here first.
She goes, "I want
What
to
do you
talk
think
to
you're
the manager."
fucking special?
So the manager comes up to me. I was friends with the manager, and he goes, "Hey, what's the problem?" And she goes, "I want a Wii, and there aren't any left except that one." And he goes, "That one was already purchased." And she goes, "No, it's in it's behind the cabinet. It's not purchased. I want that one. Have him return it. He works here. That's not fair." And he goes, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Maybe I think our next delivery is next Tuesday. Stand out front around 6:30 in the morning. We hand out like 6 or 8 tickets. Good luck."
Good
Gio in the
luck.
chat says audio and setup are looking sounding clean. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I got my 3080 similar to this Wii story. Oh my god, you remember the fucking lines for the last generation GTX
God.
cards?
Yeah, I was aware.
All the scammers and botters buying them for like $3,000.
4, 5,000, 6,000.
Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it was bad. So
That's
yeah,
awful.
it's
The good thing is, I don't think it's ever going to be that bad again.
I hope not.
PlayStation
Because-
5 sold out for like 2.5 years.
Oh yeah.
They were literally impossible to find.
How
Well-
much of that though was because of the whole COVID
It's
thing?
because people couldn't get PC cards. So like next gen stuff, you were limited to PS5. But the reason this is going to be the last generation they ever get that expensive is because mining in home rigs is done. You can no longer buy a setup that's worth it to
Well, yeah.
mine Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Well, they're moving
At
to
the-
proof of stake. So what's going to happen next is hard drives are going to skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need the storage, buy it now. So yeah, that whole thing. I don't think it's just the PC market though. Like why the PlayStation was always sold out, because like you could always find an Xbox. So it
Mhm.
wasn't exactly COVID. It was just I think PlayStation's up to 31 million consoles sold now.
Wow.
I have
Yeah,
no
so
idea.
like they are not like pedal pushing the amount of consoles. They literally couldn't keep up with the demand, even with the amount of consoles they were pushing. They are selling a lot. Like they just
Mhm.
are.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got VR 2.0 coming out, which looks actually not that bad.
What?
So the PlayStation VR was for PlayStation.
Oh, for
uh,
PlayStation.
Yeah, it was
Got
for
it. Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
4.
Man, they made a VR too.
It was it was not good. I bought it.
Oh
That's the
no.
one with the blue and red balls on the top of the controllers, right?
They used the same controllers from PlayStation 3.
So those?
Mm-hmm. Little squishy tops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know because so I got the VR. I didn't have to buy the little wand thingies because I already had them for my PlayStation 3 because PlayStation 3 had oh god, what the fuck was it called? It wasn't eye candy. They finally gave up on that, but it was like the next iteration of eye candy. So it was
I don't
like
remember.
it was a high definition camera. Then you could use the wand things, and I had like a pet one and stuff like that where you could like have like a
No
virtual
clue.
dog or whatever. Anyway, they use
So
mini
like
USB.
Nintendogs.
Yeah, but like more real.
I
Yeah.
remember when you got that, you were like playing it at your house, and I was like, this is dope. And then like maybe a week later, I was like, not so dope.
Yeah.
Like
It was like
the-
cool, but then also
yeah,
I'm like
neat.
18 or
It
19.
wore
now
off
what?
quick, and like there was nothing for it.
Yeah.
Nothing engaging anyway.
So I think they
Mhm.
only made like 17 games. There weren't a lot. And then the same kind of thing happened with the VR for the PlayStation 4 was like I bought Gran Turismo because I was like, oh my God, Gran Turismo, VR, yes. And then I played it, but to put it into VR mode, it knocked the graphics down to the point where it was like,
yeah.
I'm basically using a PlayStation 2.
Oh God.
So I was like,
Back
yeah,
to
I
like
don't-
Gran Turismo 2.
yeah, I'm
you
like,
know?
I don't want to be here anymore.
That's why everyone loved the Skyline. It's already square anyway. Like
Yeah.
graphics
Jeez.
were just perfect.
Yeah.
So speaking of new video game technology
Mhm.
and how everybody is obsessed with AI lately,
Mhm.
and how it's becoming pervasive in my everyday life with discussions about it, we might as well drag a little bit of that here.
Mm.
Let's do it.
So I want to have a conversation about developers using shitty methods of DRM
Mm-hmm.
and in combination with DLSS. I was really excited for that new like BioShock-esque game that's about to come out. Something Heart?
Atomic Heart, I think
Atomic
it is.
Heart. Right. Thank you. Until I found out that they're using like a really performance restricting DRM
Mhm.
on it. And the developer's answer to that is don't worry, DLSS fixes it. And it very clearly does not. And it's like a goofy band-aid fix to that. And
Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
just like for a brief overview, Joe and I talked a little bit about this before the show, just so I could kind of get my mindset on like some facts and organize my thoughts. There is a couple different things that DLSS does, but the specific thing that I think sucks for some settings is that it generates interim frames based on AI rendering of what it thinks you want the screen to look like. Now, some of these frames are so fast that your eyes don't pick them up, but you have problems. I guess I want to call it rough, like interpolation, like it
So
guesses.
TVs used to do this.
Yeah.
If you remember,
Yep.
it was about when you were selling them 2010 to like 2016 when those 120 hertz TVs came out.
Yeah.
This is what they were doing exactly.
Yeah.
Because so you were watching a football game or a soccer game or whatever game. You see the guy kick the ball. They're only making the game at 60 frames. When you are getting
Recording,
cable,
transmitting.
it's only 60,
Yeah.
but the TV is 120 now. So the TV would look at the frame and then look at the next frame and be like, all right, the ball should probably be in the middle, and then put a picture of the ball in the middle, and that's how you got 120 frames. This is the same thing, but for video game and AI now.
And it's guessing a lot more of the frames in between. So like the NVIDIA DLSS page shows an example of RTX off 22 FPS and RTX on 98 FPS or 89 FPS with DLSS enabled. And for a game like, let's say, like a single player game, like a Gran Turismo or something like that, or Forza, right? That would be fine, right? Because
I'd say more of like a Tomb Raider type game would be fine. If you're
Something
trying to
cinematic.
race at 22, but the game is putting out 80, you're crashing a lot.
That explains my
Specifically-
I rating.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's it, Bob?
That's
I'm
projecting.
blaming the hardware.
That's projecting.
I'm. It's always the car's fault. It's never the driver.
But where
It's not the squishy thing between the seat and pedals.
user error.
Yeah.
The thing that really bothers me about it is, what about in like FPS games? I would never want an interpolated frame in an FPS game. I don't ever want the game to show me where something is not. That's the computer guessing where you think a player is going to move. I really like.
I don't think it was, so it wasn't a big deal like with the TVs like I was talking about, because that was only every other frame, so it's not a big deal because it's only having to guess one, and it's, you know, it's between two pictures, you'll figure it out. But I think the biggest issue now is it's guessing like, you know, 60% of the time of like, you know, every 4 frames, 4 frames.
Yeah.
3 or 4 frames. That's a lot.
And think about how bad that impacts movement shooters, like in Apex, when you have somebody like
You
I know
are correct.
They kind of took out tap strafing, but
Interpolation was huge in 1.6. You are correct.
yeah.
Well, even think about it with speed running when it comes to like frames and everything. Games Done Quick was a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, whatever it was. These speedrunners have gotten it down to the point where they need to get
Frame
into certain
perfect
area where it's
movement.
frame perfect.
Yeah.
Like, and if something's running at like 60 frames, but it's being scaled to whatever this is, and I'll be honest, I understand the words, but I don't know what any of those words mean.
Okay, so
But like, if they're coming down to that one single frame and it's getting screwed around like that,
yeah, that's
You know?
exactly it. Like you need to know what's going on in each frame for some applications, but more specifically, like technology aside, because in I want to say 99% of the use cases of DLSS, it's not a problem, and then you'll have that 1% where yes, it should be off. Yes, you should be running native frames. Yes, you should be relying on the actual video card to generate what's there and not having an AI program guess. However, the main point that I want to make here is using DLSS as an excuse to not optimize your game, to have it broken from the start and ship a product like that, akin to what we were talking about earlier, is fucking bullshit.
yeah,
People
they're
should not
basically
be
using
allowed,
it as a crutch.
exactly. People should not be allowed to pump out a half-ass bad product or a product worsened by a crappy DRM program and then say, oh, don't worry, AI will make up the frames in between and fix your frame rate.
Yeah.
That's such a fucking...
That's lazy.
And it's a bullshit, lazy solution to a problem that you're inventing yourself. And the fact that we have DRM that is so significantly performance affecting is fucking nonsense. What about Valorant, which puts a kernel level fucking anti-cheat on your computer? What if somebody hacks into that? What if somebody manages to gain root access to your fucking computer through Valorant's anti-cheat? They have access to everything. Nothing's password protected at the kernel level.
More important, Valorant has access to your root level.
Yeah.
What if they decide to do something?
Yeah.
Absolute fucking nonsense. I hate when companies like not only take the shitty method, but people are like, that's the shitty method. You shouldn't do that. And they're like, tough.
Yeah, you should do that. That's what I heard.
You're right. I should do
You're
that.
right. I should do that. No,
Yeah,
that's not
and
what we mean.
It sucks because they're giving DLSS a bad name, which, I mean, I think what is AMD's version is Super FX sampling or something. Same thing. Only AMD's is available to everyone, and NVIDIA, of course, is only available to NVIDIA cards. Par for the course. They've been doing it for
Typical.
years. Yeah, it's just what it is.
G-Sync, cough, cough.
Yeah. Versus whatever the AMD one is.
FreeSync.
FreeSync. It's in the
yes.
name.
It rhymes.
I got duped when I bought my most recent monitor. I picked out a monitor. Allie got it for me for a Christmas present, only to find out that it was advertised as a G-Sync monitor, but in actuality, it is a G-Sync compatible monitor.
Yeah, that
so
happened.
it doesn't have the G-Sync architecture in the monitor like I thought I was buying.
Right.
It's
So
just-
And I
with it.
spent way more money to get it as a G-Sync monitor.
Yeah.
So the way G-Sync works, for those who don't know, it is
Like me.
a type of technology. It's an actual chip. So it's like a literal device that goes into a monitor that then the graphics card could basically read and then copy. So if you have an NVIDIA card and a G-Sync display and your game is running at, say, 53 FPS, it would set the monitor's refresh rate to 53. This makes the choppiness go away.
Okay,
so
so it like smooths it out.
It
basically.
smooths it out because
Specifically, Bob, what you would not see is screen tearing,
Yeah.
which is when your eyes hit a frame where half of the frame is rendered on one frequency and half of the frame is rendered on another frequency because the monitor is mid-refresh. So you literally see a tear across the screen.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if you've ever played like a really laggy game and you're like moving around and you see like the whole screen getting a little wavy, and so what G-Sync is supposed to do is basically cut the monitor's refresh rate to the same refresh rate as the graphics card, so that it's not doing that. So it's really nice, but it was really, really expensive because you're putting a literal chip into a monitor. So G-Sync monitors were usually I've been buying
$200
them
more.
at minimum
Than a FreeSync.
$200 more.
Yes.
So then
And then
FreeSync came out.
FreeSync came out. Then NVIDIA started branding things as G-Sync compatible.
Well, so what
which
they
means
did
it didn't
was-
have the chip, but it was a software dupe.
Well, yes and no. So once AMD caught on with FreeSync, no chip, it just works. You put the thing in the monitor, and it was compliant, and it worked. Yay!
Adaptive sync. What was it?
It was FreeSync.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. So that happened. So then NVIDIA was like, okay, let's change it up. And I think there are now 3 or 4 versions of G-Sync. The top one is G-Sync Ultimate, which is like fucking insane. It's supposed to be like HDR up to like a certain brightness where you could basically play in the sun. And then there's G-Sync normal. Then there's G-Sync compatible. So the top 2 have the chip in them, and then are just like either really good screens or the screens have met the compatibility of like sRGB is like 98% up or something, and like you needed to they need to test the hardware. So because FreeSync was available on fucking everything, NVIDIA was like, okay, let's just make it compliant with like a lot of monitors that would otherwise have failed because either the screens weren't like good enough or one of the tests were failing. So we'll just make it compatible. And then that was the release. And yes, it's software versus the chip. It still works.
Just not as well.
Not as well because you don't have the chip.
Right.
So there is more to it. Sometimes it fails, not because you don't have the chip, but because the screen isn't as good or the refresh rate wasn't hitting a certain whatever. They are very strict. I will give NVIDIA that. They are very strict about their testing for what actually gets G-Sync certified. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Anyway,
the-
I'm
the-
excited. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
No, go ahead. Continue.
I was going to change the topic. If you got something else to say on this, go ahead. And
Nope, you're good.
Oh, I got one about specifically GPUs in general.
Same. Go ahead.
So the Chinese market have released a GPU.
Oh, yeah. I heard about this.
It's terrible.
Is it?
It's pretty much like a 10-year-old graphics card at this point. It could run Crysis, so they did the test.
Didn't Intel
Intel also released.
recently released their own video card?
I actually love that Intel released their own graphics card. They're called Arc.
Good.
They started fucking terrible.
Competition breeds innovation.
Yeah. So
your competitors in the market, not
This is-
just two fucking
two.
manufacturers jerking themselves off right now.
So
We're better. No,
that's,
we're better.
That's the
More
best
money.
thing that Intel is doing. They release cards at I think it's $299 and $399. And at first, I would have never recommended anyone buy them because, like, they were good on paper, but like as mid-range cards. Like, if you needed a graphics card, I would have been like, "Yep, buy one." But they were terrible because the software just wasn't there. The software was ass. The driver was ass. Compatibility was ass.
And you could tell it's the software, not the architecture, because in some games they perform amazing.
Well, so it was
And in other
100% the architecture because there's no DX9 compatibility because it's built. The new Intel chip is 100% built on Vulkan, which is DX like 10 up.
Okay.
So basically,
So older games it runs like shit.
older games were ass.
Oh,
So like
that makes so much more sense.
So
Thank you.
like Global Offensive was terrible. It was getting like
Right.
150 FPS. This is a game that's been out since 2008. Like
Yeah.
it should be getting like, so on my card I could probably hit about 650 FPS.
I was gonna say, like a brand new 4090, you might be pushing 1,000
Yeah,
frames in CS:GO.
So like, and then like League of Legends was on there and they were getting like 30. So it was terrible.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was bad. So what they did, it's been a few months now. It's been out, and they redid their driver, and they found, I think it was from Linux, somebody was using a tool to basically emulate DX9 on like Linux machines,
Nice.
and Intel was like, "Oh, I think we could use that." So they did. It's open source. They modified it and saw like a 65 to 110% performance increase across the board. So
Hey, Jimmy, you know a lot about video cards? We here at Intel want to make a video card. Can you make us an approximate facsimile of a video card? Yeah, sure, boss. I could do that. Pop, 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 pop. This is a working video card, but it kind of sucks. You didn't ask me if I was good at it.
so that's
I have a theoretical degree in physics. Like,
Oh, my
Well, so-
God. Deep cut New Vegas reference. Thank you.
so that's like the biggest thing right now with Intel is, and like everyone in general, like this Chinese one, on paper it's a really strong video card, but the drivers suck. Video cards are hard. Like I know everyone just takes for granted that like you just plug it in and it works. Drivers and people using it are usually what fixes a lot of bugs in products.
And it's a separate architecture than regular computer processors.
Yeah.
They're not focused on the same things that a CPU is focused on as the main component of your computer. So the chip architecture development is completely separate.
And they've been at this for like 30 years. They kind of have a head start. But Intel is out here now at like a third the price, bringing relatively decent, all things considered, really good performance for like the price value. And then they fucking lowered the price.
Didn't I say that they were like equivalent performance for recent cards? It's stuff that's priced at like $599 right now.
They are equivalently now with this new update. They are now beating cards in like the $699 area.
Jeez.
At like,
wow.
I think they lowered the price to $250 and $350.
Good.
So that's great. And then
So
this,
what you're saying is that could be a good upgrade for me.
actually, yes.
Yeah, truly. Yep. Because,
Um,
you're not looking at cards that are like 4090 Founders Edition, like
no.
anything
Yeah.
like that. Like you don't play games competitively enough that you would need like 250 frames in
No.
a attack shooter with all your settings on low and playing hyper sweat. No, you want to play a game that looks good and you want it to be accessible.
Yeah,
Right.
I drive a car. I drive a pretend race car in circles and then record them and put them up on YouTube.
So
Like,
that's the other big thing now, which leads me full circle back to AMD with their whatever they call their DLSS. I think it's super sampling something whatever or Fidelity FX. I think that's what it's called, Fidelity FX.
If you said the wrong answer and told me it was the right answer, I wouldn't know enough to contest it.
It's in
so.
one of those.
yeah, I
One of-
just
one of those
smile
things
and
you
nod.
said, probably right.
So they are doing the same thing now, and a lot of games are using that because of things like the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, I always forget the Steam Deck is a thing.
So there are companies now that are copying it and doing it better, which is great because we're about to have like a really cool ass portable market of like actual powerful ass PCs in your hand.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
that's
Nvidia
so
have a
cool.
service like that too? I heard that was pretty good.
That's cloud gaming. The Steam Link or the Steam Deck can actually play on the device, which is why the super sampling
Oh.
is really important because it uses an AMD chip. So you could super sample now and basically play the game like a AAA game that would be otherwise unplayable on an Ultrabook or like whatever.
Yeah.
And you could play now at like good frame rates because it's using AI to kind of like
Fake frames.
put things together. So it works great. It's in Apex.
Is it?
I believe DLSS is in Apex.
Oh.
You can get even more FPS. It's not the frame one. It's you lower the resolution and then it kind of like AI generates like what textures should be there.
Gotcha.
Most of the time, you'll never even notice it's on.
I have to ask though, with all of that and with the AI essentially filling in the gaps, how does that work with a game online like Apex, where it's a little more, it's more fast paced? You know,
That
you're
is the
shooting,
use
you have to
case.
hit your box. Like,
So-
That is the use case where you would see the detriment for it, because especially when tap strafing was in Apex, where you were constantly moving back and forth really quick. I actually bought a 165 hertz monitor because my 60 hertz monitor could not keep up with how fast people were tap strafing. So I had, like I said, bought this monitor, the G-Sync compatible monitor, and immediately I saw a damage output increase in the game because I could actually follow a character back and forth as they tap strafe because I could actually fucking see it.
yeah,
Can you imagine having, let's say, 9 of those frames in between each real frame be estimated and trying to do that? It'd be
Yeah.
fucking impossible.
yeah.
So the way the Apex uses the DLSS, it's all resolution based. It's not doing the frame thingy. What it does is, say the bush over here, it's gonna kind of fill in some of that foliage to make it look cleaner because it would look more blocky because it's a lower resolution. We're gonna clean that up. We're gonna make it less blocky.
Okay.
So it's not like insert frame here. Oh, there's a bush over there. We think it's more of like we're gonna
Okay.
clean that wall that very clearly looks like shit. We're gonna
Yeah.
wipe that.
So it'll basically take the plant behind me and say, okay, this is here.
Yeah.
We're gonna make that a little
Yeah.
more full.
So what would be
like,
like
to use as like a visual representation, obviously, for the viewer.
what would be like 8 blocks? They're gonna like clean and put the leaf back on.
I also want to point out that a lot of this technology completely bypasses my hatred of AI art because it's not stealing an artist's work. It's using an artist's work and only the game developer artist's work to optimize what you see
Yes.
in the
Right.
video game,
So
which I think is really cool.
So DLSS, I don't know about super sampling because I don't know how AMD does it, but I know with NVIDIA, it is actually machine learned. So when the developer gives them a game that has DLSS in it, NVIDIA goes and just basically has the AI just like generate the whole game and look around and
Hundreds
pull.
of thousands of times.
Yeah.
To get a sense of what each asset looks like from different angles and different lighting and different blah blah blah, and it uses those images to create the image that fills in the gap.
It's
Technology is so cool.
It started off fucking awful. Like,
I could imagine.
I remember I was playing a game that had like a grate, like a sewer grate, and at
But
some
it didn't
point
look so great.
it was just empty. There was just nothing there. There were no grates. Thanks, Bob.
From here.
So like you would walk closer and you would walk
everybody.
closer and you would walk closer, and then all of a sudden the grates would just appear, and you're like, oh, there they are.
Rendered, yes.
Because that was the real render. That wasn't the DLSS render. Then you would walk back up, and the grates just start to meld and fucking become like demonic. And then I think 2.0 came out, and it was a little bit cleaner. And now I think we're at 3.0.
I'm watching Violet eat the lettuce off your planter.
She's supposed to eat the catnip, not the lettuce.
Well, she really likes the lettuce.
I just look up and I just hear just go.
You fucking dinosaur. Hey.
It's literally
She's going
I'm
after
hearing
it,
the
too.
Jurassic Park theme in my head. It just.
Sorry,
can
everybody.
see
We're
that-
having a cat moment right now.
I could see that they've gotten like 3 or 4 leaves. There is.
Yeah.
I've really, for the next episode we do,
Just have to put
We
a
should
camera
just
over
set
there.
up the second camera, not on a tripod, just enough for me to hand cam and get a shot because we have baby sleeping on the floor over here.
Yeah.
That just happened with the lettuce. I think next week we need to have handheld cat cam.
My cats are
I'm
idiots.
I'm game.
They
We're-
cat wrong.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it work, chat. We promise.
We'll make it work. We'll figure it out.
There will be a cat moment next week.
So, I guess going through all of that, I guess that natural progresses to the next topic I had, which are laptops are going to be fun again.
I'm intrigued.
So CES this year came and went, and do you remember when cell phones were fun? When they were just all over the fucking place, where you just everybody had a weird fucking thing they were trying with their cell phones from every company.
Oh my god, the chocolate, the juke, the sidekick,
Yeah.
like just the weird shit that phone companies are like, I don't know.
Yeah, but not recently. Right?
Well,
No.
the,
Because
well,
like
the
the
recent
past
one that
couple
happened.
iterations have been all the same phone with a slightly faster processor and a slightly better camera.
Yeah.
And that's been like the past 7 iterations of
Yeah.
cell
So the Fold is starting to happen, which is fun. We're starting to get foldy stuff and pullable stuff that was in CES.
The
Where,
fold
like, it'll
makes
be
me
a-
uncomfortable.
It'll be like a tablet like this, but you could pull it this way to make it wider, or you could pull it this way to make it longer, which was neat. So that's on the horizon.
Right.
LG, right before they decided to not make phones anymore, made the weirdest fucking phone I've ever seen in my life. It was this way, and then you would take the top 3/4 of the display and then flip it sideways to basically make an uppercase T. And
What?
Yeah, that was the thing that they made. That was released. You could buy that. That's a thing. I don't know why.
in theory, I could
think
see
it was
that working.
I think it was for social media. I think it was for like
Yeah.
influencers.
It was. I could see it because remember the flip cam
Yeah.
when it was like it was basically your like the size of your phone,
Yeah.
and it would have like the camera there, and you just kind of hold it up just like you do with your cell phone now.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that crossing over with that phone because if I'm sitting here looking at my phone right now,
Yeah.
and I take the top like 3, like probably 2/3 of my phone
Mm-hmm.
and switch it sideways, I could hold my phone and watch a video
Right.
because
I
it's
think that's
easier
where-
to hold my phone this way.
And there was still a keyboard on the bottom because
Yeah.
there was still screen on the bottom.
yeah, than it is to hold my phone this way and watch a video
So
while holding it.
I think we're at the crux here of like phone sizes, and phones just should not get bigger than this
No,
No.
they're gonna.
unless you can make them smaller.
They're making them thinner, and the bezels are getting smaller and smaller.
Well, here's my problem. If I'm using my phone one-handed, I really can't touch anything down here
Yeah.
or up here.
That's
I have
that's a you problem.
right? But I have big hands.
Yeah, I mean, I got big meaty claws and I still have a hard time like
Yeah.
getting to the very top. You know,
I don't think I'm ever going to buy a phone with a larger screen area than this, because this is already too much screen area for me to comfortably use in one hand.
Well, remember the memes too of like when iPhone came out with the 7 and the 7 Plus?
Oh yeah, the original. It was gonna be like that long.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, now it's the iPhone 79, and it's like, you know, like,
Yeah.
like 3 feet tall. Hopefully, we're never going to get something like that. Obviously, we're not
But-
going to get something that big.
But we
like,
are gonna get to that point because the newest thing now is roll. It's roll screens. Like you could buy a
But
TV
that's what
that
I'm
rolls.
saying. If it
I don't
has a
trust it.
separate use case for me using it two-handed and one-handed,
Mhm.
that's fine. Like if I have the option to make it small enough to fully interact with it in one hand,
So that's
all
where
I
they're
need.
going.
Yeah.
That is the future.
But like I'm
So-
not gonna walk around with a tablet in my pocket and be like, whip that out and trying to text somebody like,
No,
It's like your grandmother
that was-
texting, like
that was the
taking
point of the
pictures on an
Fold.
iPad.
Yeah.
Like,
Was- the Fold was you have a regular phone, and then when you need a tablet, open it. That was the gist. Phone, tablet.
but people kept reporting issues with the actual Fold line.
Oh, you mean that? That right there?
Yeah, that big, yeah.
That big black thing in the middle that's no longer
So-
a functioning screen?
I almost got one because my friend worked for Samsung and he was like, "Hey, I have 2 phones. Anybody wanted to upgrade?" And I had like a decently old, like an S9 or something like that, whatever 3 generations of Samsung phone was again. And I went over his house and he was like, "I have a Fold and I have the S21 Ultra," and I was like, which is better? And he was like, well, the Fold's really cool because blah, blah, blah. And I texted Joe and I was like, don't you have the Fold? And he was like, yeah, I do. I was like, should I get it? I have the opportunity to get one pretty cheap. He was like, no, do not. You're going to fucking hate it. Just get the 21 Ultra. And that was the right choice.
Yep.
And that is what scares me with getting a phone that folds or rolls or extends or anything like that, because the weakest point of any object is going to be the part that moves.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
we're getting there. We're not there yet.
Exactly.
I thought this has been 3 iterations. I bought the 3. I thought with 3 it was pretty good. They said they fixed a lot of issues. Nope, not there yet. But so that led to CES this year with the laptops, where they're starting to put this technology in bigger shit, and it is fun. They had 16-inch laptops, so about our size laptop, right? Except that was one giant screen.
Oh.
And the keyboard part was the screen, and the trackpad part was the screen. Or you could have like a Bluetooth. You could have like a Bluetooth keyboard that basically magnetized locked on top of it. So now you had a traditional laptop with a real keyboard. Or you could take the keyboard off, put it on the floor, take the monitor, turn it sideways, unfold it all the way, and now you have like a 24-inch monitor on the go with your keyboard and mouse right here. So I was like, yes, it's happening. Fun stuff again. And they're making them thinner and they're making them lighter because they're starting to use friggin' magnesium. I think it's magnesium alloy. So the laptops are like 1.9 pounds.
Wow.
Jeez.
Like fully loaded, not just the shell. Your whole laptop, 1.9 pounds.
Holy crap.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I'm like, they're starting to put OLEDs, like mini LEDs on the laptop screens now.
As long as the fucking screen doesn't break when I close it.
Well, the biggest thing now with mini LEDs is that when they're off, they're off. So the screens are like insane. And with that comes battery life. So now they're over here like 15 to like 23 hours of battery on.
Wow.
Like we are at that point now. We are even testing
right
now. They're
after
doing
I
15
bought a
hours.
$2,000 laptop.
Yeah, I mean, you still got like another like year before this starts to hit the market.
Right.
But it's starting to get fun. There's starting to get fun stuff going on.
I haven't purchased a laptop since I bought my 2010 MacBook Pro that I was told I would need in college. Because you're a communications
Mac.
major. You need a Mac. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I need a Mac.
So that was a
it's
fucking
for
lie.
your it's for your
It was literally because they're like, oh, you're a communications major. Oh, you want to work in TV, so
It's
you
your
have to
image.
get Final Cut Pro.
that's what it was.
It was literally just to get Final Cut Pro. And I'm like,
Wow.
I don't want anything to do with TV, but cool.
Good-
and they're
good.
like, no, you need a Mac.
I spent $4,000 on my laptop in 2016.
I remember that. That was
'Cause
the
I'm
one with dual
stupid.
980s, right?
Yeah, it had 2 video cards. It had a desktop processor in it. It had brand new. This was when NVMe drives just came out. Spent $2,000 on NVMe drives
Man.
because I wanted 512 gigs twice. So I rated them so I can get 1 terabyte of SSD. The laptop was absolutely insane. Weighed 19 and a half pounds.
Oh my God.
Big old chunky boy.
I had a laptop bag, which was basically just an Alienware backpack because this is the only thing it'll fit in. It's like 2 inches thick. I think it was insane.
God. Well, last
Did it
week,
survive?
What, my back? No. Irreparable
back.
damage.
well, I will say, like, I will shit on Mac as much as anyone else. Like, even though yes, I have an iPhone and an Apple Watch, like, whatever.
Smell that, Bob? Smells like hypocrisy.
I know. As much as I will shit on him, my 2010 MacBook Pro is still alive and kicking. I haven't had, knock on wood, haven't had to replace anything. I've had to take it to their Apple's tech support twice because the motherboard's just like, no, sometimes. But okay, whatever. Now, if I take it there, they're gonna be like, yeah, you need to buy a new one. They won't even like look at it
Yeah,
because
no,
it's so
you're
old.
out of warranty. Yeah.
Yeah. But for now it's still live. I just need to get a new battery, and that's something I plan on purchasing soon, and we'll do on the show. Like
That's surprisingly most laptops these days. There are a couple that are shit. Looking at you, Microsoft, you make the software, but your hardware is ass. It's terrible. My CEO wanted them, and I was like, no. He's like, I'm gonna buy one. I'm like, don't. And then he bought one. It was the
Surface.
the Surface Book. It was the one that was like foldable.
Yeah.
That you could like take the tablet part off. We owned 2. We went through 6.
Yep.
My
You ever
dad
see the
wanted one.
NFL videos of them
Oh my god, just throwing them.
like smashing them
Oh my
because they're so
God,
frustrating?
yes. Yeah. Good. It's one less we need to worry
Yeah.
about.
And honestly, that is such a great, also not great advertisement for Microsoft.
Right?
Like
People
NFL
yelling
players
at them
like,
and throwing them.
So dumb, Dad." Shatters
Just
everywhere.
shooting them on the sidelines.
Hey, Plaxico Burress hasn't played in the NFL in a while.
Put that in the new NFL blitz. We can't do violence to players anymore, so let's just do crazy shit on the
Yeah,
sidelines.
and well, think about it. They can do that product placement. They'll make more money, and the player can just destroy the Microsoft Surface TM.
Right.
You know, Microsoft Surface tackle of the game.
Oh my god.
It's just a video of them tackling the tablet.
Yeah. Just replace the player model with a tablet. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, even like speaking of AI, like AI, even within the last like month or so, has been such a huge
Yeah,
Yeah.
like thing. You know, because beforehand, anytime anyone ever said AI, you'd think of 2 things. You'd either think of like sci-fi movies and shit, or you would think of, oh, I fed a bot, 75 hours of TV shows and had them create a script.
Yeah.
And it comes out, Olive Garden, when you're here, you're here. Like,
Whenever anybody said AI to me up until like the past 2 months, all it let me know was that they don't know what the term AI means.
yeah.
So there was either machine learning, which was the big one, or machine learning. This is it.
Yeah.
It was either art, which is mostly stolen because it was learning, or it was
All stolen.
learning languages, and then that's not as easy to steal because you're just learning how to speak.
Yeah.
But now with GDP,
GPT.
GPT? What does that mean? What
I
does
don't
that
know.
stand for?
I don't know. Words.
Chatty boy. Like, I don't know.
Giga chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Giga
I
chat.
like that.
So I've been feeding it dumb shit over the past couple weeks.
You had some pretty good ones.
I asked it to write a song about a stupid dog, and it was hilarious. And then I asked it to write a song about a cat, which was also funny, but not as funny as the stupid dog, because it put some neat rhymes in there.
You asked it why squirrels hate me.
I asked it why squirrels hate him, and then it ended up giving me a pretty good list. But the last one on the list was that what was it? You were soft, basically.
Yeah, basically called me a wimp.
Yeah, the squirrels think you're soft, and
Yeah.
so they're gonna keep going at you. I think was the end of it.
Yeah.
GPT is generative pre-trained transformer.
They had to put transformer.
More
in there.
than meets
Fucking
the
Musk.
eye.
They just had to put transformer in there. So, and then the new one, which we're gonna get a kick out of this name. I don't know if you guys heard this. Google released their own version called Bard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Haven't
then
they
they
already
and
implemented
then they
that in Bing?
no.
Well, that was
nah.
Microsoft. Or no.
Yeah, it's Microsoft.
Yeah, that
Bing
was
is
Microsoft basically buying ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Wow.
so GPT and Bing is like basically the
In
same
cahoots.
thing. Which, if you think about it, this is paving the way. If they integrate it the right way through Microsoft Office,
Mm.
we're getting Clippy 2.0. And not only are we
God.
getting Clippy 2.0, we're getting a Clippy that'll actually be helpful.
Hey,
Instead of,
hey, don't you besmirch Clippy's name.
Instead of, hey, I noticed you're trying to do a thing. Would you like help?
Clippy was sassy and perfect. He told you were stupid, and you just had to sit there and agree because you didn't know what you were doing.
You had to sit there and just take the abuse.
Yeah, like, I noticed that you're trying to do this. There's a different way to do it. Like, shut the fuck up.
Ain't nobody in history had a side-eye harder than Clippy.
Yeah.
It looks like you're trying to write a letter. Do you need help?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Clippy for the win.
You're an idiot. Let me help you.
I loved it.
Right?
That's me now as an IT guy. I just became Clippy.
It looks like you're about to make a fool of yourself. Try these suggestions.
I love it. I love Clippy. I love everything about it. No, the Google is barred. It's their own thing, and then they fucked it up day of it. They made it do a sentence about something about space, like a new rocket or a new telescope or whatever, and then it lied. It was wrong information right out of the gate.
Oh boy,
their stocks dropped like 10%, like immediately.
Amazing.
I was like, oof, big oof. Google, you had one job. You couldn't have checked that ahead of time. Maybe like, I don't know, done it beforehand.
Right.
But what did you were using it, right?
My a buddy of mine, we're in the middle of planning for a friend's bachelor party.
Mm-hmm.
And just for shits and giggles, my buddy goes to ChatGPT and says, hey, plan a bachelor party for these days for Denver, Colorado. And it came back with actually some strangely insightful stuff to do. Like it says, for day 1 in the morning, go for a hike in the nearby Rocky Mountains for breathtaking views and a bit of adventure. Afternoon, visit a local brewery for a tasting tour and some delicious beer. Evening, have dinner at a steakhouse and enjoy live music. Awesome. Day 2, in the morning, play golf. Afternoon, visit, museum or Denver Zoo for a cultural experience. Evening, visit a nightclub or a casino for gambling and drinks. All right. Day 3, take a hot air balloon ride.
Really goes off the chain.
Yeah.
I think that AI wanted
Day
to...
4 just says do crimes.
Yeah, right? Like
Day 4, shoot me into space.
yeah. Make me your robot overlord. Hello, I am Clippy.
I love the sight of humans on their knees. That was
So-
a joke, Mr. Moreau.
I guess it saved some
I
stuff from
can't
the
allow
last
you to
time.
do that.
So I was talking about us on here because I was feeding it information
Uh-oh.
about our podcast,
no.
and I just wanted to. I started asking it, give us an episode idea, give us, whatever, give us a summary, and it gave.
We should do one of the ideas without saying which one it was. And then be
See
like,
if it's caught on.
was this AI or was it us?
Oh, man.
So I had it do like 3 or 4 of them, and then I think, here's the song about cats, and then
let me sing the dog song.
and then here's the dog. I
Yes.
said, can you write me a song about a dumb fluffy dog? And that's what it came up with.
All right. And keep in mind, like, this oriented it, like, laid it out, verse 1, chorus, verse 2. So he's a big ball of fur with a wagging tail, always happy, never fail. But when it comes to smarts, he's not quite there. He's our fluffy, dumb dog with a lot of hair. Chorus. Dumb, fluffy dog, always by our side, making us laugh with his silly pride. He may not be smart, but he's got a heart. We love our dumb, fluffy dog right from the start. There's a lot more of this. Like it is a full song.
It's a full song.
And it's in a very like typical rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
So like verse 1 is rhyme scheme A, and then the chorus is AABB, and then that usually continues. So like verse 2 is AABB, and this is all not in like what's the Shakespearean up down
Prose?
down? No, prose is a type of poetry. There's a type of rhyme or cadence with Shakespearean stuff usually, and I used to accidentally write in it because it's easy, because it's like a very satisfying rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
It's not quite as simple as that, but all of these are like very easy. Just thank you 4 a.m. watching the chat. Iambic pentameter.
Oh,
So
yeah.
iambic
Yeah.
pentameter is like dun 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 dun. Like that's the scheme, and a lot of Shakespearean works are in that. It's not quite as simple as that, but it is very close in a lot of
It
circumstances.
reminds me of like if you were in like middle school and your teacher was like, I need you to write a song about one of your pets.
Yeah.
That reminds me of
So,
what it would be.
yeah.
one of the jokes that I like to make about AI is it like prior to the past couple months, our experience with AI generated things is basically like human adult level having a stroke.
Mm.
Like some of it kind of makes sense, but not totally.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guesswork. You can kind of see what he's getting at. Now we're at small child.
Yeah.
Now we're at like 10-year-old, right?
It's actually kind of creepy.
But you forgot my favorite part, which is the bridge.
I didn't forget it. I just didn't sing that far.
You
There's a
should
lot
have.
of
This is the
paragraphs
best
there.
part. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but we wouldn't trade him for anything instead. This AI called my dog Dub.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but we wouldn't trade.
Then I tried to
for
break it.
anything instead.
I asked it to divide by 0, which it then gave me a good definition of why it can't do that.
That was confusing because you said that and scrolled down, and all I saw was the entry on NASCAR.
Oh,
so
no.
I thought that was the answer and had followed
So
up.
so with the NASCAR one,
God.
I asked it to make NASCAR sound elegant. That's all. Just make NASCAR sound elegant.
Noom.
And I will say
Noom.
what Chat GPT said is
It was actually
it's the gist of why I love the sport.
It was actually really good.
Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna do the quote part, not the whole reason, because it was basically explaining to me why it should be elegant. But it is. NASCAR is a celebration of speed, skill, and precision. The roar of engines and the thrill of competition are matched only by the sleek beauty of the race cars themselves. The drivers, pushed to the brink of their abilities, navigate the track with grace and precision, executing daring maneuvers and breakneck speeds. The sport is a symphony of sound and motion, a true spectacle of engineering and athleticism. It is a celebration of the human spirit and the limitless potential of technology. In the end, NASCAR is not just a race, but an art form.
Yeah.
And I was like,
When,
damn.
When you sent that
Sounds like
to
the
me,
end of fucking Top Gear.
like when you sent that to me,
Anyway.
I was reading through it and I'm just like, yeah, like this is basically what I see NASCAR.
Amazing.
Like,
Yeah. I also asked it why the Doom 2016 soundtrack is so good. It gave me 5 points,
well, the first time it answered you, it answered for the Doom 1993 soundtrack.
which was also really good.
But it doesn't tell you why in that one. It just says it's good.
Oh,
Why is it good? Because it's good.
Oh,
Because
because
it's good,
I
duh.
stopped it. I asked it another question in the middle of it answering.
Gotcha.
I was like, no. And then I asked, why is rolling a D20 fun? To which, again, it gives you 5 reasons. And they're long reasons.
holy shit.
Like, I ask a simple question, and it just fucking goes.
I should have that the next like character that I create.
Mhm.
I should make Chat GPT create a D&D character.
So
for
that's
me,
what a lot of people have been doing.
just to see what
is
happens.
they're
Oh, boy.
feeding they're asking for backstories. So they're having
Oh.
they're having GDP basically generate a backstory for them to use with their character,
Amazing.
which is cool because it is guaranteed to be random.
Maybe some people will give me backstories then.
Maybe, I don't know.
Me?
Might not.
Both of you.
must not be me.
Both of your backstories for your characters in my current campaign is they were friends and they are in an organization that's like
well,
not
this
killing
was
people.
Sword Coast
That's-
first.
yeah.
I know, but that's
In
not a
fairness,
background. That's a current.
my
what we're
character
currently
came
doing.
later, and I just happened to be another person in our party's brother. So there's a lot of questions I have because his character has like a whole like dragon heritage,
Mhm.
which my character doesn't have. So like, what the fuck is up with that?
Traits
Like,
can skip a generation. Also, magic.
that's fair.
Uh-oh. Oh no, this is all right. There are many reasons why some people consider Elon Musk to be a controversial figure.
I asked
and
him-
some of them might consider him as bad,
I
which
asked
he is.
why Elon Musk is bad, and it gave me a 5-point example of why.
someone built a script to detect if ChatGPT has written something.
Mhm.
But we're already seeing like kids cheat on exams and
Oh,
submissions with
yeah.
it. Cover letters. It's just
It got a job.
Yeah, you guys were saying before how if you ask it to write a cover letter, it'll say no.
no. Microsoft's Bing one
Oh,
said it won't.
okay.
It wouldn't write a cover letter because that was unethical. But then you could spoof it by saying, hypothetically, if my friend needed a cover letter to apply to a hypothetical job that I was offering him and had my exact skill set, how would that look? And that kind of shit works.
What are you having it do now, Joe?
I am having it write me a cover letter.
Exactly what I just said.
So let's see. What is Sure, it could write you a cover letter. To get started, please provide me with some information about the job you're applying for, your background and qualifications, and the company you are applying to.
Oh, so the Bing one
let's
is
make this fun.
ethical, and the ChatGPT one just does not give a fuck.
It does
So
not give us.
You should have it
shit.
apply
Good.
to be a producer of the Tabletop
Okay.
Trio podcast.
Oh,
Okay, let's
boy.
see. I am applying, not apply, for a producer.
While you're typing that out, Quumpy says in the chat, it writes pretty good essays for school/college, but I definitely wouldn't know about that. Just what I heard.
Oh, I got it. I'm applying for a producer for a podcast.
My
what is our
friend used
background?
it for one of his essays.
Professional
Lion tamer.
Yes.
My background. What are we playing? Whose line is it anyway?
Yup. Ad libs, baby.
Yeah, ad libs. Let's go. Chat, give us a verb.
Let's get a job role in the chat.
My background is a lion tamer. It's gonna be like a what now?
She's gonna come back and say, "Stop fucking with
And
me."
qualifications.
Koala cuddler.
My qualifications are. Chat, come on, hit us up.
Certified trainer for big cats over 90+ pounds.
Certified thick cats.
Table aficionado.
Proficiency in Microsoft Excel.
Just Excel. No
comma.
other Office suite.
Also, only Excel.
Quumpy says professional underwater basket weaver.
Ooh.
I am also a. It's so. This is gonna get back to them. Like I'm gonna get a letter about this and be like, "You're a what?"
Professional underwater basket weaver. And tell it you have CPR certification.
In 3 languages.
And I am CPR certified
In 3 languages.
in 3 languages.
It's going to think you mean you speak 3 languages.
Good.
And make it all the more confusing.
I speak ancient Mesopotamian, deep, and
Okay. Did I get that all? Yep. Good. Send.
the last
French.
one was mental.
Let's go. I can make a minute rice in 58 seconds.
That is some real skill right there.
Yeah, I got skills. What are you going to do about it?
That's fantastic. All right, let's see. Oh wow, it's going. All right.
Would you like me to read it in the announcer voice?
It's still typing.
Holy crap. It's 3rd paragraph.
Yeah, it's at the 4th paragraph.
4th paragraph.
Damn.
We did
she
cheated a
is
lot.
Moving.
Yeah. 5th paragraph.
Damn.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
All right. You want me to do it in the announcer voice?
There you go.
All right, here's what we got. For I'm applying for a producer for a podcast. My background is a lion tamer. My qualifications are certified thick cats, also only Excel. I think this is going to sound better than what you put in here.
Yeah, that's
I
the
am
point.
Also a professional underwater basket weaver, and I'm CPR certified in 3 languages. Dear hiring manager, I am writing to express my interest in the producer position for your podcast. With a background as a lion tamer and a certification in, quote, thick cats, unquote, comma, I believe I have the unique blend of skills and experience that would make me a valuable addition to your team. I am confident in my ability to produce a high-quality podcast, having honed my skills in project management and attention to detail as a professional underwater basket weaver. And through my CPR certification in 3 languages. I am particularly excited about the opportunity to apply my creativity and passion for storytelling to this role. Oh, I just called this out as bullshit.
Really?
That's what it sounds like. My passion for storytelling. In addition, my experience with Excel will allow me to effectively manage and analyze data to measure the success of the podcast and make informed decisions about future content. I am always looking for new ways to innovate and improve, and I am eager to bring that mindset to your team. I would love the opportunity to further discuss how I can contribute to your podcast and help you achieve your goals. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any further questions or would like to schedule an interview. Thank you for considering my application. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Sincerely, ChatGPT.
Fantastic.
I would hire us.
You had me at quote thick.
Thick boys.
4 a.m. watch says, dang, I use like most of those lines. Same. That
Right?
actually sounds like a fucking cover letter
Yeah.
I've submitted.
Yeah, that sounds. What's crazy is I could regenerate the response.
I had one of my cover letters, quote unquote, once for a restaurant position was, please hire me. I'm eating instant ramen noodles every night. It didn't work. And the guy told me I should never tell that to a hiring manager ever again. I didn't really want the job.
That's
Makes sense.
disappointing.
Oh, it's writing another one. So
Oh, God.
We can see. It might be the same. Or very similar. I don't know.
I'm a big fan of the attention to detail as an underwater basket weaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It looks like it's writing in the same gist, but like the wording is shuffled around a little bit.
Did it have a power of precision and attention to detail?
It had attention to detail, but not power of precision. It said something else like precision based.
I love how it's like, oh, hey, you can use Excel to monitor data on your podcast.
Oh my God. Finally, my CPR certification in 3 languages is a testament to my commitment to personal and professional development, as well as my ability to adapt to new situations.
Quick, they're dying.
Andale!
Can you imagine?
Muerte!
I have CPR, but I'm not good at developing to new situations. Oh God, they're dying. I just need a minute.
That aside, I do want to say on the topic of CPR, we got defibrillator training at my last job, and they told us the number one mistake when defibrillating somebody is maintaining contact with the person who's getting defibrillated. If you defibrillate somebody and a part of your body is touching them, you will also get defibrillated and it will knock you out.
Yeah.
So then there will be one dying and one unconscious person to then deal with.
Yeah.
And then the new guy has to figure it out. But does he know
Yeah.
the problem?
Oh God, which one was the one with the original emergency?
They're both holding the paddles.
The one with the electrodes on them.
Oh God, they both have the electrodes.
Why is one
meanwhile-
stuck to the other guy's inner thigh? I don't understand.
Meanwhile, one of you is wearing like a Pokemon onesie and the other actually has the electrodes on them. It's like, shit.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I guess before we wrap up, I have a thing that I bought.
Oh, no.
I was at the store. I saw this. I double taped.
What the fuck?
I triple taped. I rubbed my eyes to make sure I wasn't seeing shit.
Give me that.
This is hers kettle cooked famous appetizers charcuterie board flavored.
I need to see. I see something on the back that's incredibly unsettling. How much crap do you have to put on these chips for a bag of potato chips this size to hit 340 calories?
Holy shit.
the whole charcuterie board.
There better be goddamn salami in here.
That would be hilarious.
All right, pop it open.
Oh boy.
I am terrified.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited.
I want to smell it. Oh, fucker was in there. Was it a child-proof lock? Jesus.
Does it smell like a charcuterie board? Let me see.
It smells like an egg roll.
Oh, no.
smells like fucking potato chips. What a letdown that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It just smells like plain potato chips.
it smells like potato chips that like have some kind of seasoning on them, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
I see green and red.
I see specks of green, and specks of red.
Speaking of specks of red,
Uh-oh.
do you know what paprika actually is?
No.
Because I got my mind fucking blown today. I thought it was like a fucking herb or a tree. I was going to try to grow it in that fucking thing.
Turns out it's ground lizard.
It's just ground fucking bell pepper.
What?
Yeah.
How's that any different than pepper flakes?
Ground pepper, like the bell pepper, the outside.
Yeah.
Pepper flakes are on the inside.
Really?
Really?
That's strange because I don't really like bell peppers that much, but I really like paprika.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Wild. Are you ready to try this fucking chip?
I guess.
Well, because paprika is more smoke, so maybe it's like smoked ground.
Which is also weird because I hate smoked things. Let's eat this chip.
the hole gets deeper.
So chips.
That's a lot of salt.
Okay, that is a lot of salt.
I taste salami. I don't like that I taste salami.
These do taste good, though. I don't get salami out of it.
Maybe this wasn't what I got.
It almost tastes like really salty bacon bits.
Yeah.
Like it has that like meat adjacent
I
flavor.
get a little bit of olive out of there.
I'm not getting any olive.
No? I'm going to try one more, see if it's the same experience.
On the tail end, I taste more meat. I don't know if I like it.
This might be one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, but then I realize I finished the bag.
I think
See,
I know. I
I
think I know
like
what the
it.
problem is. I need wine.
I like it, but not enough to eat that bag for 340 calories.
No.
I'd rather eat something I like more for 340 calories. Also, I don't really get charcuterie board out of that at all. I just get potato chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get strangely I can't pick what flavor it is potato chip.
I get what they flavored it after. The flavor is charcuterie board. It's the wood that the charcuterie was sitting on.
Ah, there it is.
Now I understand.
Does it say what specific?
You know what? That is why it tastes meat adjacent, because the board was adjacent to meat.
The thing that's throwing me off is that they have pickles on the charcuterie board.
Why?
Are those? Oh, those are pickles.
Like
What
the
the
little ones that are still whole?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like little
Oh,
gherkins.
no, I've seen that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen pickles on a charcuterie.
That's actually, I can say that's
Good.
fine for you. But Joe, you have seen pickles on a charcuterie board because one of my house parties, I had pickles on a charcuterie board. Shout out to Allie.
Yeah, I'm used to a ton of olives and cheese.
Before I watch says, what demographic are they even aiming for with those?
People who've never had a charcuterie board
That
and
one.
don't know what one tastes like.
Redneck charcuterie.
Man, those are some fancy charcuterie.
So what they do
boards.
is they get a cutting board, they pour these on it, they cut out the little part that says charcuterie board, and then they put like a piece of cheese and some makeshift wine, like grapefruit juice wine that they freaking stilled in their
Welch's
backyard.
only the best.
A redneck
For
charcuterie
bathtub
board
hooch.
is a bunch of cold cuts stacked up on a boat oar.
My favorite is if you read the title as is. It's hers kettle cooked appetizer. What is it? Great appetizer charcuterie board flavored chips.
So the only thing that could be potentially charcuterie flavored in here is part skim milk mozzarella cheese
Okay. I didn't get
is
that
part
taste
of the
at all.
flavoring. And then yeast extract, spices, non-fat dry milk, garlic powder.
I can kind of
What
do the
trick-
garlic powder.
What would be garlicky on a charcuterie board?
the pickles?
Probably
I
the
guess
meats.
if they're very specific
Maybe?
type pickles. I don't. Are garlic meat?
I mean, there's also one of the main ingredients is onion powder.
What's onion on a charcuterie board?
That's
too?
what I'm saying.
There's only one person I've ever met in my whole life that would eat onion off a charcuterie board, and it's my
I
wife.
was right. That is the red shit on here. It's paprika. Nailed it.
4M Watch says you must bring these to Normandy to test the test the theory and bring boxed wine as
Okay,
well.
here you go. On the second to last ingredient on here, which means the least amount. Salt is on the bottom, which is surprising because I taste salt the most.
Oh yeah.
Natural smoke flavor is all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't get a smoky taste at all.
Me either. There's a lot of yellows, reds, and blues in here, though.
Listen, if I'm gonna burn
Yum.
350 calories on something, it's not gonna be chips that just taste like salt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like mozzarella and milk in here. I'm not tasting any of it.
Honestly, like having been watching my calories recently, learning to respect enjoying what I'm eating has been like at a whole new level.
Yeah.
Because like I have to be so tight with the calories.
That one was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that chip was smoky.
I have to be so tight with the calories that like if I eat something as a small snack and it's gross, I'm not wasting the calories swallowing it. I'll spit it out. Like I bought a package of Greek yogurt that was supposed to have like black cherry in it, and I opened it up and ate it, and even with the black cherry stirred in it, it just tasted like Greek yogurt. And I was like, I'm literally not wasting 150 calories on this.
Yeah.
I'll go eat a piece of fucking chocolate and enjoy it rather than eat something tasteless.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna eat things just to fill me up. I'll just suffer and be hungry. Like eating is supposed to be an enjoyable experience. That's why like a lot of people who try calorie counting in diets don't make food that's good, and it's not hard. Like if you're gonna bake chicken, like put seasoning on it.
Yeah.
It's 0 calories. It makes it taste better. But I have friends that are hardcore bodybuilders that are like just grilled chicken and rice, no seasoning, no topping, no nothing else, and vegetables. And they're like they will just put those things in an oven, not the rice, but they'll just put the vegetables
know.
in the chicken in the oven and cook them like that. And they're like, oh, diet food sucks. I'm so manly. And it's like, bro, season it.
Yeah.
Make it taste good.
Little
You don't have to suffer.
like pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, little Italian seasoning, maybe some garlic powder if you're feeling frisky.
Oh
like,
yeah, and all of that is no calories. Although I know some people avoid the salt because it makes you retain water, but still.
Salt, no, but pepper, garlic powder.
Let me try one more.
Well, you can't be. Garlic powder is also mostly salt, as a heads up.
really?
Yep. It's like a 50-50 split. It's like the equivalent of plankton, like SpongeBob plankton.
50% seaweed, 50% hot gas.
me. But I feel like that's a pretty good jumping off point for us here. Unless you have Chat GPT running something.
I do. I asked it to make diet food taste good.
The top one says add spices and
top
herbs.
one is
Let's
spices.
go.
And then use healthy fats such as olive oil and avocado, which is another duh.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good jumping off point.
I got a lot of cheese on that chip.
Yeah, it's like
lot.
very,
You know what?
I guess, charcuterie-esque.
There is a right way to eat chips, and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy.
You have to
Three or four
lay
at a
the
time?
whole chip on your tongue.
No, I open it from the bottom.
Really? Oh, because you get all the
Because think
seasoning
about
on
it,
the bottom.
it's sitting on the shelf like
Yeah,
this the whole
yeah.
time. There's going to be seasoning on top of the chips. That is all going to fall down to the bottom. At least if I flip it upside down, all of that is going to be on the top, but also trickle back down to the bottom, which is now the top.
Making a
And
lot
it-
of sense here, Bab.
And it like
It's like the burger method all
coats
over
the rest of
again.
the bag. Yeah.
Yeah,
So open your bag of chips from the bottom. Your chips will taste good or better.
better. That makes sense.
Well, anyway.
Everyone looks at me like I'm crazy when I'm sitting there eating a bag of chips upside down. They're like, "What's wrong with it?" I'm like, "It tastes better."
Keep in mind, you also don't have to explain yourself. You could just look someone dead in the eye and be like,
I can't read.
What do you mean?
that was better than what I was going to say. I have, like,
That's how you end up.
because of my ADHD, I do have, like, a problem reading. And Allie suggests all these amazing books that I know I'd love, and I don't read them. And whenever she's like, oh, you should read this, it's amazing, I will just look her square in the eye and go, I can't read. Because sometimes it's so cumbersome just to focus on even like short work emails.
Can't do it.
That I'm like, if I tried to sit down and read a book, after like 3 pages, half an hour would have passed, and I would have just skipped back up. I would have mind wandered away.
I was using Amazon for that. The
Audiobooks?
Kindle. I was just audiobooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Read to me.
That's
I'm
how
stupid.
I did The Name of the Wind. I just on the train up listened to an audiobook, and even then I still had to rewind some sections because my brain.
Yeah. No,
I'd
still
hear imagery
Oh yeah.
being spoken about like whatever the author wrote, and then I just start thinking about it, and then I'd realize that the narrator was still talking and be like, fuck, rewind.
I do that with podcasts. Like and I'm pretty sure I've said this on before. I'll listen to Critical Role podcasts and that kind of stuff. Like if I'm driving, I'm probably listening to that.
Right.
I'll sit there and they'll say something and I'll be like, oh, that would be a good idea for a character. If I do this and then they do this and they'd be doing this, and what would they sound like? Maybe they would sound like this. And I would go off on a whole tangent. Next thing you know, they're in the middle of a fight. I'm like, what?
What the hell happened? Yeah, I do that with audiobooks too. If I see myself starting to wander off because I could catch it, I'll just pause. Be like, yeah, we're gonna think about this one for a second.
Yeah. But
maybe if I knew to do that, maybe if like when I started thinking could catch myself like that, but it's always like I just snap back to reality. I'm like, oh man, 20 minutes have passed. What's going on?
yeah, it's like shit. All right, I should probably go do something else now. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. But as always, thank you all so much for hanging out with us in the chat. You can always follow us on all the different social medias, Tabletop Trio. You'll find us there wherever. We are now officially everywhere you find podcasts.
We did the
We're
Apple.
finally on
super
Apple?
fun.
We finally did it.
I was able to hit publish the very next day.
All right.
Wow.
So I'm going to have to look. I haven't had time really this week to look for us in the Apple Podcast thingamahoosit, but
Yes, the thingamahoo's it.
we should be up there. And yeah, as always, if you are a podcast listener, thank you. You could watch us live on Twitch Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern-ish, give or take. Tuesdays, we also try to stream something around 8 o'clock Eastern as well. We've been doing a lot of Stardew Valley. We might think about changing it up soon.
Hit us up with suggestions.
We'll always take whatever you guys want to see us play. We'll find a way to play it. So, as always, thank you for that. And for one final time, I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
I'm Bronson.
And this has been Tabletop Trio. Thank you all so much. That is the wrong button.
Error.
Perfect button though.
Honestly, that's better. But as always, thank you for hanging out with us. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.